This is a video I didn't want to make, but I kind of felt it'd be remiss of me not to, considering I spent a couple of years ago now, talking about a particular series every month, or particular pair of series. And I think I acknowledged in that there were issues around the production, but I did say, I don't know anything about it, I enjoy it for what it is. Recently, we've had the double strand of Charisma Carpenter and Ray Fisher, who have come forward with allegations of various types of abuse against them, against other cast members in projects. I believe that at one point the person in question was claimed to have been gleeful at making a writer cry. And that's not good. That is not good at all. Of course, I'm talking about the whole Joss Whedon allegations, and from what I understand, the situation with Warner with Ray Fisher is very fraught, and it's not something that I'm as familiar with. I enjoyed Justice League for the most part, but I don't have as much of a stake in that. I'm not downplaying it at all. That is still going on, and whilst that's still going on, that's great, and any more support for Ray Fisher is brilliant. A lot of the Justice League cast are coming forward, or at least I know Jason Momoa has by me recording this, by the time of me doing that. But my big issue, my big experience, lies on the other side of the fence with Charisma Carpenter. The fact that Sarah Michelle Gellar has come forward, Amber Benson has come forward, Michelle Trachtenberg has come forward, and even the male, James Masters, has come forward to stand with Charisma, to say that yes, they're aware of things. I mean, James Masters' tweet was very much like I don't know much of what went on. There were tense days, there were awkward moments and things, but I totally understand if things went on that I may not have been privy to. I stand by you all and, loved you in this time. And before I go any further in this video, yes, to both sides of this equation, I stand with both of you. I think it's great to root out all forms of abuse, particularly when it's with in people with authority. When they're abusing that power to abuse their underlings, whether it be writers or actors or whoever, and whatever form that abuse takes, it's bad. And I do not agree with that at all. I do not stand by that. I've made errors in my past, but I've come forward and owned up and gone, yeah, I was kind of broken in the head. It's not an excuse, but it's an explanation of why that was a thing that could happen. And I'm much better for it now, thankfully. So I know that these things can happen and there can be reasons. Like I say, it doesn't excuse it, but what's even worse is when it's a long period of time and very consistent and no attempts to change or even acknowledge that it's a problem are made. And that's what I think is the case here. Now, like I say, I have a sort of horse in this race, if you will. When the whole thing came out about JK, or she who must not be named, I think, from now on, I obviously felt bad on the transphobic side, because I'm in that umbrella, but by the same token, I didn't grow up with Harry Potter. I didn't feel a massive connection to it, and I was like, death of the author, it's a thing, and I've talked about it before. Other people have talked about it. If I can remember where it is, there's probably going to be a link below to a Lindsay Ellis video on this topic, because I think it's great. She's great in general. If you don't know about her, why? Go and watch all of her stuff. It's absolutely brilliant. But Death of the Author, in brief, is saying, well, here's the person that created this thing. They're awful or whatever. Here's the art that I like. They are separate. And I can enjoy this without having to worry about this on it. Now, people have come back to that saying, but the author always puts a bit of themselves in their work. And yes, you can't make a bit of work, a creative work particularly, without an element of you in it. I agree, I concur, but this is why it's an exercise. It's not just as simple as going, oh, I don't need to worry about that. It's an exercise you have to do. You have to be in your mind and go, this isn't about the creator. So, like I say, I didn't have a horse in that race and I just thought it was very easy. When all this really came out, like I say, it's been the last couple of days before me doing this, and I was like, I can't sit on this. I felt that pit in my stomach that a lot of Harry Potter fans probably did. I was like, can I justify liking the things that I like? And I have gone, yes. This is a creator who has made 2, at least, of, well, actually 3, and then a whole bunch of others, but 3 I can name, of some of the most badass, powerful female characters in the last sort of 30 years. Buffy Summers, for all of her whining and stuff as she got older, is a kick-ass woman. Faith, with all her issues and everything like that notwithstanding, is a kick-ass woman. And in fact, she does that thing that I was on about of owning up to her issues and dealing with it. And River Tam, despite her psychiatric problems and everything that's happened to her, at the end of the film Serenity, spoilers by the way if you haven't seen it, she kicks ass. In a beautiful balletic way that only Summer Glau is capable of, because she has that, well, not only Summer Glau, but she's got that dance history, and it's so beautiful and fluid. And this is what didn't match in my head. How can this serial abuser and tormentor of women be a guy who's created so many powerful female characters? Yes, they all have flaws in some way, and maybe that was the thing we're meant to take away, but the best heroes are ones who overcome their flaws. This is what we strive for in the hero's journey. The flaw being either looked past and dealt with, or overcome, or just gone, well, that's a thing I have to deal with, I will soldier on. That's part of the hero's journey, so it wasn't necessarily a big red flag. But maybe it should have been, I don't know. And like I say, I'd heard of stories way back, but there were just moments of, oh, it was a bit awkward, and it was looking at me a bit lecherously, and I was like, well, that's not great, but it was isolated moments. Only now in this continuation, I guess, of the Me Too movement, which is great. The fact that we are lifting these rocks and letting these secrets come out is great. But only now is it starting to form a cohesive whole. Now, I don't know who of the writers he apparently caused to cry, or at least upset very heavily. I can't remember the exact wording of what I saw. It was a couple of days ago. But I always think of some of the writers that I've known through Buffy. When I was watching Once Upon a Time, I noticed the episodes that had J.S. Benson writing them. When I was watching Battlestar Galactica, once she'd been brought in, I could tell. I know her way of writing, I know her style. It's very witty, very Joss-esque really, but very witty, very sarcastic, very dry humour. And that is her voice, and I'm here for it. I love J.S. Benson. She's got great energy and everything. So, if it was her, that's really bad. But even if it wasn't her, that's really bad. There are other writers. I don't think it was clarified if it was a female or a male writer, to be honest. But given everything else we're hearing, it's probably more likely to be a female writer. But that's the thing. There are writers who are working on that, and various other members of staff, who I want to support. And this is where the big issue came to me, and it only really came to me last night, when I was sort of formulating a plan for this video, because I do that sometimes. I respect the work that went into it, whilst the overall creator, the one sitting atop it all, whose vision overall it is, there are a number of factors that bring it from that to the screen. And those are writers, set dressers, prop masters, directors, first ADs, technically the directing things, stunt people. All of these things come together, and a lot of people put a lot of work into these shows, into Buffy, into Angel, into Firefly, into the film Serenity. So, by still enjoying these forms of media, I'm not saying I support him. I'm respecting the work that went in. For people who were berated and abused day after day, and they still came and gave us these end products. They still provided us with this wonderful piece of entertainment. They worked in spite of hardships to do the best they could and give us an entertaining 45 minutes or whatever. And that's why I can still enjoy these works. It's not about him, it's about them. And to be honest, I already own all of the media that I think has been produced by that man that I ever will. So me continuing to watch them is not giving him any more money. I've already done that. I can't take that back. So, denying myself the enjoyment of things that I already have available to me is backwards logic. And like I say, I'm supporting the people who have put that effort in spite of the hardships. Again, it's the hero's journey. They've had hardships to deal with and they've done their best and overcome them. So yes, feel free to enjoy any media that you have that has been created by a problematic person, that you found out down the line. If you already own that media, then still enjoy it. Practice Death of the Author, if you can. Obviously, I know not everyone can do the mental gymnastics and it'll be in the back of their head. Maybe I haven't tried watching it since it's really come to the fore. Maybe I won't be able to. But I'm at least willing to give it a go. Because again, I respect the efforts of those who worked through that to give us that. So I don't think I can really say much more than that without repeating myself, which I've probably done a bit anyway because it's me. But yeah, if you can separate the art and the artist, great. If you can't, fine, but as more and more stories of this come out, I think we're all going to have to face this. Like I say, I thought it was exempt, and then this happened, and yeah, it's a lot more difficult to face, so I do sympathise if you can't marry or can't separate the two in your brain. I fully appreciate that, but like I say, that's all I want to say before I get into repetition and off-tangent ranting. So, thank you very much for letting me get this off my chest, and, hopefully it's enlightened some of you of what's going on. Stand with these people, support these people because they need it, but until next time, as always, really, really take care.